Coast to Coast Tuesday, doubleheader. Bucks visiting Tyrese Maxey and the 76ers. Tip-off at 8 Eastern. Noah Eagle handles play-by-play with Reggie Miller. And Reggie's scheduled to be a guest on The Tonight Show on Thursday with Jimmy Fallon? Wait. Really?
Really?
Okay.
I got the invite. I'm going to show up.
What are you going to talk about?
I think we are previewing and highlighting Sunday night basketball in America. You know, we are going to take that time slot now. Now that football is coming to an end, Sunday night basketball is beginning with my good friend and the legendary Mike Tirico and Jamal Crawford. So three-man booth, and starting this Sunday, the Lakers versus the Knicks in my second home.
Is everybody going to be available to play in that game?
Well, I hope so.
LeBron.
Why do you think? What you mean? Because something blockbuster might happen?
No. I'll get to that in a moment. I just want to make sure all hands. Like, I never assume everybody's playing in a game. Now it's unfortunate, but I hope that they do.
Theodore, it's not unfortunate, but isn't it sad? Isn't it sad that you even have to think about that? I mean, we never thought about that back in the day. And I don't want to go down this route about what we did in my day, but it's sad that fans like yourself, because I consider you a fan of the game as well, that fans would even be like, well, who's going to be playing? Is everyone going to be available? You just didn't think about those things back in the day when you knew if someone had a legit injury, well, you knew they weren't playing.
Yeah.
But, you know, when there's 4 games in 5 nights, the availabilities of some stars, I don't know if you'll get them those 4 games in those 5 nights.
But I don't know, like Giannis's injury, he's out 4 to 6.
He's out tonight.
Yeah.
Giannis is not playing tonight.
But like 4 to 6 weeks, is that? Does he play again for Milwaukee?
That is, look, I've been kind of scratching my head. If you are a Bucks fan and you live in the state of Wisconsin, could you have seen Giannis's last game in a Bucks uniform? I hope not, but look, there seems to be writing on the wall. He's open to being traded. Again, he has not come out and said, I want to be traded, but you hear from the Bucks side now that it may be beneficial from their end as well to clear the books and close this chapter. Again, we don't know. This is all talk. This is all people just throwing out ideas and, you know, coming up with rumors and so forth. But we know he won't be playing tonight. What we do believe, because Joel and Paul George didn't play in that thrilling loss last night for the Sixers versus the Hornets at one point.
Oh, my God.
Down 50 at the end of 3. I believe we will have Joel and Paul George in attendance tonight. Whoa, man, they got to make up the difference versus this undermanned Milwaukee team.
We've been talking a lot of analytics related to the Broncos' loss, and I'm curious when analytics came in to the NBA.
I believe early to mid 2000s, I think. Right as I was basically retiring, I think people started to look at the stats more, 3 versus 2. That's when you started to get threes, free throws, and layups. And the mid-range game kind of started to become a little bit more obsolete. And you started to play more in space and pace. So I would say around 2005, 6, 7, and then it just kind of took off from there.
Because you don't have to encourage somebody to take a 3 now, whereas when you were playing, you know, if somebody took 3 threes in a game or 4, that felt like a lot. Now you might do that in the first quarter.
Funny question. Hall of Fame coach, arguably one of the best coaches I ever played for in Larry Brown. He used to look at me crazy when I was taking 5 to 7 threes during that run from 94 to when he left, I believe in 97, 98. Like, he jumped all on me because I was taking threes. I mean, he was like livid. I just wonder what he would think about in today's games where, I mean, and it's not so much, to me, it's who's taking the three.
Yes.
I mean, you've got centers, power, everyone's taking threes. It just is not the point guard or the shooting guards. I mean, assistant coaches are taking threes now from the bench.
Well, I go back to Rick Pitino at Providence when Billy Donovan was one of his players. Rick is one of the first coaches who ever embraced the three because he had a small lineup and he shot the three. And then I go back to Paul Westhead at Loyola Marymount. They were going to run you and they'll give you your two, but they're going to come down and shoot the three. Like, these are two legendary moments, coaching moments in history and how they've affected the game.
I think we also have to throw Don Nelson in there as well. Run TMC, they were kind of ahead of their schedule with Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway, Sharunas Marshallonis.
And also, he didn't have to have a big man either. He was the first coach who said, I don't need to have 6'11", 7-footer. My center can be 6'7".
And they played small, and they tried to run you off the court. They tried to outscore you. And they had some success, but not great success. And I don't think that really caught on in the 90s. But boy, has it come full circle now. When you look back at those Nelly teams and how they performed, and think about the success, those teams had back in the Bay Area as well when they upset when Dallas was the number one seed with Dirk and all that. And you had Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, Matty Barnes. Those teams came full circle.
Reggie Miller on the call tonight at 8 Eastern. It'll be the Bucks visiting the 76ers. Mac McClung, no slam dunk contest. Why?
No four-peat, right? That would be a four-peat for him.
But what is holding up his schedule?
Maybe he turned it down.
Well, I'm going to guess that he did, but, I mean, that's what you're known for.
Three-time winner, was looking for a four-peat. Maybe he turned it down. Look, there's only so many dunks a human being can possibly do. And I give him credit because he saved the dunk contest the last few years. If you're not going to have big names, thank God, Matt, he brought the funk, as we call it, because he saved the dunk contest. But again, you and I have been down this road. I think the three-point competition has surpassed him because, everyone's counting in the arena. You just don't know in the dunk contest if a guy's going to make a dunk, how many attempts he gets. The luster comes off when he misses his first dunk. At least in the three-point competition, it's make or miss, and you know the number.
Why can't we do and we've discussed this, that we have the old and the new in a three-point shooting contest where you have Del Curry and Steph Curry. You could be there with Klay Thompson or you and Halliburton if he was healthy. But, it'd be kind of fun to embrace the past and the present in a three-point shooting contest.
I would be on board with that. Obviously, us old-timers would have to have some type of handicap, and let the current-day players, do the bigger role. But I would be on board with that because the last thing to ever leave, because you could get a Craig Hodges who can still shoot, Peja Stojakovic who can still shoot, Mark Price who can still shoot, the Steve Kerr can still shoot. It would be cool to kind of see some of these old timers and you pair them with the modern day three-point gunslingers.
But I give you one rack, Reg. Like the old guys only have to do one rack, so you get to pick your spot. Hodges will be at the top of the key. You might be in the corner. Steve Kerr at the top of the key. Peja on the wing. And you just stand by your rack.
We just do one rack.
Yeah.
You don't even have to move?
No.
Oh, man. Sign me up.
What do you think?
Oh, sign me up. I would do that in a heartbeat. Yes. Yes.
Derrick Rose got his jersey retired. Is he going to the Hall of Fame?
I would be surprised if he doesn't. He will be the only MVP not to be in the Hall of Fame.
Man, if he didn't get hurt,
is he a first ballot? I doubt he'll be first ballot, but he'll get in at some point.
But
for a 6 to 8 year stretch, him and LeBron were battling for who was the best player in the game. And the youngest MVP, I would be surprised if at some point he's going to get in. All MVPs get in.
Man, he was a thing.
I've said this on numerous occasions when I first started on this side of the aisle and calling games. I would pay. I would have paid to watch him play. He was so electrifying, and his demeanor, because he wasn't one of those cocky kind of guys, but he exuded confidence, and it just permeated because he let the other guys. Because Joakim Noah was the guy who was like cocky and flashy, doing all the talking, and Luol Deng was quiet, kind of like D Rose. Coach Thibs just had those guys. Oh man, I would have paid money to watch Derrick Rose. He was that electrifying.
And it's weird to say this, that he may mean more to Chicago because he was local than Michael Jordan. Like Jordan gave you the titles, gave you all of that, but Derrick Rose, local, one of your own, and becoming a league MVP and a Hall of Famer.
Born and bred.
Yeah.
And at some point, that's why LeBron was so loved and then became so hated, because he was born and bred in Ohio, played high school and was obviously drafted by them. And then they felt betrayal when, he left and took his talents to South Beach, but made up for it by coming back and winning them, their only championship. So you're right. In terms of pecking order, yes, Michael Jordan, he has all the accolades, fantastic. But to me, the two people I will always think about in Chicago, number one, Derrick Rose, Isaiah Thomas too.
Yeah.
When you think of Chicago basketball, a lot of times his name doesn't get mentioned. Isaiah needs to be mentioned as one of the great Chicago athletes of all time.
Are the Lakers a threat? Like, what's the threat level for them right now without making any moves?
Well, I think everyone's holding their cards right now because they want to see what's going to happen with Giannis and what's going to happen with John Moran and some of these Anthony Davis. These are names that everyone assumes are going to be traded. So I think the Lakers are kind of keeping their cards close to the vest. Are they a threat? When Luka's going to put up 46 tonight, yeah, they'll always have a puncher's chance. If this was a heavyweight fight, yes, they will always have a puncher's chance because of this playmaking and the scoring of Luka and having one of the all-time greats in LeBron on your team. So there's your puncher's chance. The problem is when you get locked into a series, things start to get taken away and things start to get exposed. That's where they're going to run into problems.
Rich Paul doing his podcast with Max Kellerman and then says, hey, if I'm running the Lakers, I trade Austin Reeves and I try to get Jaren Jackson Jr. You can't say that without us reading into, you have to have had this conversation with your client, LeBron James, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, you have. And LeBron has come out and said all the right things, that he doesn't speak for me, and that's he's saying all the right things, but look, they're boys. That's my agent. They've had this conversation before. But if you're Rich Paul, you can't do it. Because now if I'm AR and I'm looking at LeBron like, really? This is how you think of me? So I'm sure he's taking his time coming back too, knowing what he said. Now I know he's supposed to play on this hopefully he'll play in that Sunday night game. That would be great for him to make his debut. But if you're Rich Paul, you can't do it. You can't say that.
Knicks going to trade Karl Anthony Towns?
I don't think so.
Would you
I think
trade him?
depends on what I'm getting back. I wouldn't, because the way the game is played today, you've got to have bigs that stretch the floor. Check. Rebound. Check. He averages a double-double. He's just got him and Mike Brown, Jalen Brunson, they've got to figure this out. And this is no fault to JB Brunson. But I think he's going to probably have to help bring Cat along here. Because it's just too night and day from what we saw just a year ago. 24-13, All-NBA, All-Star, and then just the struggles he's having this year. It's mind-blowing, and I think Brunson's going to have to help bring him along.
Have fun tonight. Good to talk to you, buddy.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Theodore, and my Danettes. Miss you guys.
That's Reggie Aloysius Miller Jr. III, Hall of Famer, and he'll be on the call with Noah Eagle tonight. And tip-off at 8 Eastern. It'll be the Bucks without Giannis against the 76ers. By the way, every January we're told to start over, but real progress doesn't happen overnight. Nutrafol, the best-selling hair growth supplement brand, targets the root causes of thinning from within. For visibly thicker, stronger hair in 3 to 6 months, skip the shortcuts. Visit Nutrafol.com, promo code Dan Patrick.